What's up, guys? Jason Cardamone here, and I got this crazy idea to just shoot a spontaneous video, which is actually one of my strengths, is doing just spontaneous, creative type of videos. But I'm doing a screenshot, and so this is definitely not the norm for me. You know, I like to be on my feet. I like to walk around. I like to use a whiteboard and move around and use my energy. Where when I'm sitting in a chair here with the screen, I feel pretty restricted. So. And I'm forcing this on myself because I love creating videos and I love serving people with my mission statement. And so basically I asked a question here in the group just, I don't know, it looks like 48 minutes ago now. So time slipped by me a little bit here. And we've got a ton, probably a dozen or so questions already. And I am going to basically machine gun through these things. And right before I start, I just want to tell you guys why I'm doing this. And this is going to be like 30 seconds. The purpose of my life is to love, to enjoy the journey, and to inspire, teach, and serve others. That is literally my purpose and why I do anything I do every day. And I have not shot nearly the amount of videos in the past 2 weeks or so due to this move that I'm in the middle of, still in the middle. It's like a wreck. I don't even know what you can see behind me because I've never shot a video from the camera you're on right now. So I have no idea what you can see, but I apologize if it's all crazy because for whatever it is a fraction of how chaotic my life has been lately. And so I haven't been doing videos and I have not been living my business mission as much as I typically can. So I'm doing this selfishly to really get out there, serve my mission statement. Now, the good thing for you guys is that the whole thing is centered around loving, inspiring, teaching, serving others. The only selfish part is the enjoy the journey part, and I'm definitely going to have fun during this video. So let's dive right into it. And actually, let me read one response to the bottom here so my mind can begin solving this thing as I'm getting through it. Perfect. So I will first of all say there's one theme that occurred in more than, believe 50% of the questions or the issues or problems or whatever, challenges, opportunities, and that is the issue of time. And that means a little bit something different to a lot of people, but that's a topic we're going to focus most of this whole discussion on. And I apologize. I know this is going to sound like I'm drinking like super loud when I take a drink. I apologize. It's just how my microphone works. So it's right in my throat here. So hang on a sec, guys. I know you guys can hear me swallow and stuff. I totally apologize. I can't fix that right now with how my setup is. So Chad says on the DS side, time. So he's talking on the drop shipping side. I'm about at the $1,000 a month pace, and I'm afraid if I grow it much larger, I won't have the time to actually service customers properly. Now I'm going to stop right there. So notice how Chad's actually identified something, fear. And fear is one of the biggest things that holds anybody back from anything. And one of the best ways, so the very first thing I thought of for Chad here, and Chad is actually one of my personally sponsored people. I don't care. This whole, just so you guys know, I think all of you are like a part of my family, and I don't really care who's personally sponsored and who isn't. I just happen to know Chad is personally. I don't always know because I have a medium-sized team right now. But I happen to know because Chad has been doing great things, and I really have enjoyed one-on-one coaching with him because he is absolutely one of the people you want to look out for on the drop shipping side. He's doing really great things. He's definitely growing a 5+ figure a month business here in the next year. So Chad is already around low 4 figures a month, and he's afraid if he grows it larger, he can't service customers properly. So the first thing I would tell you, Chad, is break down the times you're doing right now. Now, this is going to be for everybody. And does this software actually... I don't think I can draw... I can't draw on the screen right now. I'm used to my webinar software. What I want you guys to do whenever you have a time issue, I want you to realize you have the same 168 hours per week that I have. Now, I may be doing this full time. I don't drop ship full time, but I do online business full time. But I have a family that's very important to me. I have 3 kids. Lately, I've been driving to and from school that's now 20 miles each way. And that's just for school. That doesn't include anything else. And so everybody has the same 168 hours a week. And I don't care if you work 2 or 3 jobs like I've done in the past. I don't care if you're full-time and you're doing this business full-time. You have to learn how to structure things you have to learn how to structure those 168 hours to where you are in control of what's happening. Don't let just like your whole week slip by and you're like, oh, I don't really know what happened. Let me go do it again the following week. You have to take responsibility for that time, because that's the only factor we all have in common. Do you guys realize that? If you rewind back my life 8 years ago, I knew nothing about network marketing because I didn't start network marketing until May of 2006. So exactly 8 years ago, I was clueless about network marketing. And my experience at that time was I borrowed $5,000, dropped it into a business in 1998. The whole thing went under within a few months, and I'd never sold anything anyway. And I was convinced it was a big scam, the entire industry. And so the only difference is what I've done over these past, 7 years and 11 months of my life. And what have you done in that same time? And what have you done with your 24 hours every day, your 168 hours every week, your whatever it is? I forgot all the other numbers beyond that. And so you have to realize that's the one constant we all have. And so you have to figure out how to structure things correctly. And this includes things. I would definitely recommend, and this came up in another thread today, the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, because Tim has really mastered growing businesses with really part-time. And it's really one thing I'm proving to do. There's a lot of people putting in more than 2 to 4 hours a day and making, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month and beyond right now in our group. Well, I will be doing the same thing, but I'm not going to put more than like 2 hours a day in. I may stretch to 3 or 4, but my only constraints are going to be what do I believe the average person can do. And I know because I built teams of way over 30,000 people, so I know what the average person has extra hours per day to free up. So anyway, back to Chad's exact question. And if you guys don't know me yet, I love to just, I am a principles and I'm really like a principles-based type of a trainer, not necessarily a technical trainer. Even though I'm really good at technical trainers, step-by-step details, all that stuff, I am far better at principles and, the higher level, bigger picture stuff. And so I will do my best to hammer down and get myself back into, teacher, trainer, whiteboard, step-by-step kind of mode. So let me get back to Chad's exact question. I'm afraid if I grow much larger, I won't have the time to actually service customers properly. What I would say, go break it. First, go make some don't service all your customers properly and see what that threshold is. Because right now there's a fear that I won't have time to service customers properly. But what you may find out is that as you get more and you start serving your customers, maybe you start leaving out steps that you're doing right now that aren't helping your feedback and helping you gain anything in the first place. As you really, basically, so let's say you have this much stuff, right? So picture this as this giant like garden hose, right? And all this water is flowing through it. Well, all this water is what your hours are in the day right now, or the hours in your DS business, let's say. So you have this and all the stuff flowing through it. And right now, what Chad is afraid of is that he can't really stretch his hose more because something will break. And what will break is customers, he won't service his customers correctly. What will likely happen is that he will just start doing more business. And there might be some things he's currently doing with customers that are maybe he's not doing as efficiently as he could be. And I'll just give you guys some examples. So I've interviewed a lot of people. I had interviewed someone a month or two ago around what they do, what does their process look like, and they have like a 4 or 5 step process in how they follow up with customers, when they mark an item as shipped, when they contact the customer, stuff like that. And I'm willing to bet that until you start to systematize that process, you lose out on a lot of what should I do when, and even have some things of, you know, just wasted customer service stuff. One of the, and by the way, it's Eric Foster, by the way. One of the things that I know Eric does, or that he did a few months ago, I haven't checked in with him on this particular issue lately, is he's very proactive around reaching out to the customers as far as like, thank you for your order. And then he'll mark an item as shipped on a certain day. But when he does that, the customer gets an email. And so that's like sending them an email, but you're just clicking a little button. So it's very quick time efficiency stuff. He also does everything all at the same time each day. So I think it's like, for him, it's like every morning or every night. I can't remember. But if you systematize it, don't change everything and like you're ready to go shopping at the store. And you're like, oh, I sold an item, I better get the order placed. And then an hour later, you're still fumbling around with the same order and the same customer. Don't do that. Go to the store, get excited about your cha-ching you just had, come back home, and then deal with all 3, 4, 5, 10, 50 sales that you've all had in the last day or so. And do all of them at the same time. And when you systematize your process like that, it greatly condenses the amount of things you can do in a given time. Now, Chad, specifically for you, and guys, I'm teaching more, you know, generically here, principles and values based. I know Chad specifically, and Chad, for you, I would say, I believe you're probably already pretty darn systematized. I would tell you, go ahead and break what you're doing. What I mean is, break through that fear. Go just expand your business. You obviously know how to expand because you already got to 1,000 a month within like 3 months here, a little less than 3 months. And so go just break it. Go list more items, go sell more stuff, and figure out what happens on the customer service side. What is it that will it creep over and you'll find a way to make that time for the extra customer service that you think you need? Or you may also find that you literally don't have that time for the extra customer service, and you may find that, hey, I guess I didn't need to do this or this and or this, these steps of customer service. Or another option is that you might find out, oh man, I finally got a negative feedback. Guys, negative feedback isn't the worst thing in the world. I have yet to find a single seller that's a massive power seller that has 100% feedback. There's probably a couple out there, but the vast majority are like 99, 95, 98%. You're never going to please 100% of people. And so here's a great analogy. There's a few years ago, I have a product online. I sell it for like $20 a month or whatever. It's a long story. Who cares what it does? So I sell this product, and I was looking at refund rates, and they were like 0.5%. So for every 200 people that buy my product, only one wants a refund. I was like, cool. That's like real. I was all proud of that. My customer service is so amazing. Then I start reading, and I got onto this thread of several multi-millionaire marketers, and every single one of them agreed, if your refund rates aren't 2, 5, 10%, which is most of them shoot for about a 10% refund in our niches here, if you don't get a 10% refund rate, you're not pushing hard enough for the sale. So then I looked at everything. I'm like, I'm totally not pushing hard enough because there should be a lot more people in, and I should be getting a lot higher percentage of refunds. So you guys should do the same. You should have a higher percentage of negative feedback, because when you get 1 out of 100 and you're still getting a 99% feedback rating, but you're selling 5, 10 times as much stuff. I mean, if Chad were doing that right now, he wouldn't just be making $1,000 a month. He'd be making $5,000 or $10,000 a month if he can increase his sales 5 to 10 times and just lose a little bit of customer service. So the other thing, and if we scroll down here, you know, a recommendation for Chad to go to Odesk, to Elance, to even Fiverr. There's a million sites you can go to. And guru.com. Go to those and you can hire someone to handle some of that stuff for you. And I'm not going to dive into that too much because that's a whole world in itself, the world of outsourcing. But that's really something where I would encourage. So this again goes to the time thing. And Guys, I know I'm still stuck on Chad's question, but I'm talking about things that have been asked throughout this entire thread that I'm actually answering about 6 questions at the same time right now. Look at all the activities in your business. Look at how much time you're spending right now every day, and let's say it's 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 30 minutes a day. You better find a way to stretch that time longer, or to hire other people to do it for you. So you take the number of hours per day or minutes or whatever it is, and you look at what am I doing for, all throughout that time, and you break it down percentages. So if it's 2 hours a day and you spend 1 hour listing and finding new items, great, that's 50% of your time. You spend 30 minutes ordering new products, great, that's 25%. You spend 30 minutes doing customer service and updating spreadsheets and all the other stuff, great, that's another 25%. You need to know those metrics coming in so you know what the heck is happening in your business. There are some awesome tools out there, and I will talk with the leadership team and see if we can get some additional tools and things around this, but I use a tool that tracks literally everything I do all day long on my computers. And so, and you may see random children or my wife or people in the background here too, because the kids are all home from school. I use a time tracker, and literally tracks by the second of what I do every day. So when I'm done with this thing, it's going to say, oh, you spent X number of hours today recording a screenshot on Facebook, and so all that stuff is tracked, and every week I get to look at what I did for 168 hours. You need to get a grasp on things, and a lot of you are better than me at just tracking things on your own. I use that software because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to create a spreadsheet. I don't want to do anything. I want it all done for me and then reported to me like I have this little assistant in my computer watching everything I'm doing all the time. So you have to get a grasp of the overall picture, breakdown of what's really happening, and then figure out what's give and take. And there's a couple things you guys can do. Let's say you only have 2 hours a day. Let's say that, because this fits with a lot of people that are time limited. So let's say you have 2 hours a day. You can either choose to look at what are you doing for the other 22 hours a day. Are you sleeping 8 hours a day? I know so many people that sleep 4 or 5 hours a night that are self-made millionaires. 4 or 5 hours a night. And they still work out. They still do everything that you do, except they're running, they're making 7 figures a year, and you're making maybe 6, maybe less than 6 figures per year. And I know some of you are making 7 too. Good job. So basically, you have to look at your overall amount of time. So let's say you're limited to 2 hours, or you think you are. Look at what you're doing the rest of the week. Maybe you can give up the little class you just started on how to take photography, and do that in another year or 2 from now when you have an easy 10, 20, 50 grand a month coming in from your dropshipping business. And then you can take all the classes all day long you want. I've taken off for the last 4 years straight now, with the exception of 2014 so far. I've taken a minimum of 4.5 months off per year ever since 2010. So 2010 through 2013. Last year I took more than 6 months off of my business, but yet it made a lot more money than most people are making, especially in the whole world or the whole US or everywhere. So you can do all that stuff if you put in the work first. So look at, what are you already doing? What personal activities are you doing? What are you doing with your family? I'm not telling you to go sacrifice things with your family, but if you're spending 50 hours a week doing family-oriented things, but you're really hurting for money, you need to ask yourself, are you really doing the best good for your family, spending your personal time with them? What if you took 10 of those hours, invested it back into your business, then you can give your family that much more financially and time-wise in the longer run. You have to play those kind of games and look at everything you're doing in your life. And a lot of it comes down to comfort zones, because we as humans, we love being comfortable. We typically don't like to be uncomfortable. It's really how society has trained you to be, and I would encourage you to get uncomfortable as much as possible. Even with Chad here, he said he's afraid if I grow it larger, I won't have time to service customers. Go break it. Go get your first negative feedback because you couldn't properly communicate with customers, and just see what those limits are, and then you can start to readjust things. So Chad, I hope that helps a little bit. I'm actually going to skip your affiliate side of things, at least for a little bit here, and I'm going to move on here. I thought I had one other thing around your thing, Chad, but I was trying to mix in several other questions and answers here. So Colin says, how to find the hot items so we can really get our business kick-started. I'll just directly address that. Say, Colin, I have literally heard this dozens and dozens of times from people making way more than me in dropshipping, from people making a lot of money per month, 4 or 5 figures a month in dropshipping. The number one thing is to list more items. You find the hot items basically by listing more, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, cool, I have this hot item. Now you can do things like look for seasonal items. For example, we are in the spring here. What things are really good in the spring? We'll jump on the live webinars with Roger, and he drops hints like that all the time. So as we're talking about that, let me just drop a little bomb here. What I do in the background all the time, so I'll have interviews from people on the team that, like Jason O'Neill made a video last week or a few days ago or whatever. I've been playing that in the background. I've been playing recordings from the company in the background. I've been replaying the recording from Eric Foster and Jason. Just everything to do. I play that stuff, and I'm pointing over here to my second monitor. I'll be playing things in the background as I'm doing stuff. Now, obviously not during a recording because you'd be hearing all that, but I do that stuff all day long because your subconscious mind can actually pick up a crazy amount of knowledge from that stuff. And what I do is I'll be playing it, and if something like triggers and I'm in the middle, I'm like, wait, what did he say? It's not the best way to be really efficient at what you're doing, but I'll stop what I'm doing, I'll go pause and rewind it, and then I'll take very specific notes if it's something that was really like, man, I've been looking for that answer for a long time. So that's something you can do. Tony Robbins calls it net time, N-E-T, no extra time. Double up activities. Record those MP3s and everything else. Take them with you when you're going, and when you're out on the road driving around doing everything, plug in and listen. I don't ever listen to my car stereo. I always listen. I'm always plugged into my MP3 player. I have like a $3,000 or $4,000 stereo system in my Acura, and I don't ever use it. I don't even put the faceplate in. All I do is listen to my MP3 driving around. And sometimes I'm driving around, I'll catch someone looking at me, and they're probably like, dude, why is that guy driving that car listening to headphones? Like, what? You must be a bum, or what? I don't even know what they would think, and I just kind of laugh and smile. It's how you become super successful, is always pour positive information into your mind, because we're surrounded in a world with quite the opposite. So the best way to find the hot items and good items, you have to go list tons of items. Now you can get more strategic about it. Think about what is hot this time of year. Go get there's all kinds of tools out there. Go figure out what is actually selling more right now than anything else, and then go look at those types of items. And granted, with a lot of those, you have more competition, so you have to get more competitive with your listings too. So there's always give and take with the hot items, but I have heard countless times from people say, I can't believe this item is making me so much money. It's something they would have never guessed, and that's my exact experience as well. The 3 to 4 hot items I've ever had, they were all like random stuff, have nothing to do with each other, and I just listed them because they look like they were selling. They look like they would be a good item to list. And next thing I know, they're selling weekly or daily. So anyway, I also have a little fear of taking my business to the next level due to financial stipulations. And let me see if Colin... I don't know. I'm going to wait to answer the rest of that one, Colin. I'm going to see if he comes back and gives a little more detail. So I'm not sure what financial stipulations, what he's referring to there. But if they're what I think they are, I'm going to cover those in some other ones down below here. And then Colin said, I will answer this thing on the affiliate side. I also want the confidence of what to say to people on the affiliate side, so I do not sound like an idiot. Okay, first thing here. You are not an idiot. God didn't make junk, and you ain't junk. There is no such thing as sounding like an idiot ever, period. That's it. End of the call. The whole thing's over. So No, guys, we live in a world, most people walk around with like a self-esteem. It's like, well, what will they think of me? That is what is at the root of what would somebody else think of me. I battled this for years. Guys, I've done like I think I've done over 1,000 videos now. I used to struggle so much about, well, what would they think of me? And it held me back from being myself on video. And I had all these gifts to offer the world, and I didn't even know it. And they weren't even getting out to the world because I was so afraid of you thinking I might be an idiot. Now I would love to be an idiot on camera for you. Whatever makes you laugh, get you inspired, I will do. There's nothing I won't do to make you get out there and change your life and realize you are a champion. So Colin, I'm telling you right now, you are a champion. I believe in you, and you can make this thing work. Now specifically, let me help you get some more confidence on what to say to people on the affiliate side. Say as little as possible and let the videos do the work for you. Let the video of Roger, the one with the Lamborghini in the house, or whatever car it is, I can't remember, with the car and the house, let that video do the talking for you. Let the video of of Kevin when he's doing the calm model, get those videos doing the talking for you. So you don't really have to do a lot of talking. You have to get people's eyeballs on those videos. I will also say, if you don't personally have that good of a story yet, tell the story of other people in this group. You're surrounded by successful people. So this goes for Chad. He was talking about it on the affiliate side, the knowledge, confidence, and just general lack of experience in that arena. Guys, the biggest thing, this is by far my biggest strength, is on the affiliate side. We call it affiliate side here. Guys, this is a network marketing company. I love the network marketing industry. You are in a network marketing company, in case you didn't know that. So one of the biggest things I will share with you is that you need to get good at telling other people's stories. And if you don't want to get good at that, that's okay. Just get good at getting those stories in people's faces. So if there's a video where somebody's telling their story with DSD or with drop shipping or with the affiliate side or whatever, get people seeing that video. Now you got to make sure the video doesn't have all these links and so you lose your people to them. You got to use the kind of sales collateral where somebody's doing selling on your behalf. I do videos like this all the time for people where we create a video and then I get it to the whole team and then they go out and market that video out to the world. And so you want to find videos like that. And there's tons of them all over, guys. Go look on YouTube. I'm talking about specifically for DS Domination. And we have some of that stuff already built in to, go grab Marketing Extreme. That product has all kinds of great converting sales pages and stuff like that that will do that stuff for you. So they tell the stories for you. So you don't have to, don't do the work yourself. It's one of the biggest mistakes people make is they try to be the salesperson themselves, especially when you're first starting out. Your story stinks. It's not a strong story when you're first starting. So you need to tell the story of other people. For example, I tell the story of what Chad Maddox is doing all the time because he's kicking butt. I tell Eric Foster's story, Jason O'Neill's story, all kinds of people. I could go on forever here. I tell the story of other people all the time, and that's one of my biggest ways I've been able to succeed in this industry is getting good at telling other people's stories. And then, and I'm always developing my own, and then once your story gets better, then you can start dropping some more of your own story as well. So, I hope that helps out a little bit there. I'm going to move on. And guys, I am horrible at moving on. I could literally spend like an hour on each one of these questions that came in here. So I am getting out of my own comfort zone, being a good example of what I'm trying to teach you guys. And I'm trying to machine gun as much as I can here. Hold on, I'm reading this last one. Okay, so, and let me acknowledge. So I use the like button so people know I've read. Basically, I use it as an I've read your post button. Gavin says, I would like more personal development links or resources like audio stuff to keep me inspired throughout the week. So Gavin, I'll tell you what I personally do is I actually have a lot of strategies in this area. And now some of this is stuff that it's not really particular to DS Domination, so I'm not going to share everything I do on this video or in this group. But I will say one really good thing to do is to go grab, and I'm so used to pointing to my library, referencing my library. We're in the middle of this move, and my library is like packed away, so I can't reference anything right now. Go get books and things that you're supposed to be listening to or going through or learning from, even if it's just straight up inspirational stuff, and go get the audio version of those, and then you can be listening to those all week long. Guys, when I'm running, that's all I do. When I'm at the gym, it's all I do is listen to books on audio. I'm used to calling them books on tape, but technically everything's books on MP3 now. And also personal development on MP3 and just anything. I listen to stuff constantly all the time. I do actually, I haven't tracked for a while, but in a typical week, I do like 15, 25 plus hours of listening to things. And so, Gavin, it really, some of it depends on what specifically you're looking to grow in, but I would encourage you. It sounds like, one thing Gavin says here, stuff to keep me inspired throughout the week. I'll tell you guys something I did last week was just bust out. I can't believe Pharrell Williams, his Happy song. I almost forgot his name, which is hilarious because I've listened to his song a couple hundred times in the last week or so. So I learned about what he did to create that video and what his drive was and what his vision was for why he made that video. It's one of the most inspirational things ever. And so I will go on YouTube and I will find things that are like all these inspirational movies and clips and like speeches throughout history and stuff like that. I'll go find that stuff and I'll just play that in the background too. And so there's all kinds of things you can do to plug into real positive stuff. And guys, that you have to do that. It's like Zig Ziglar said. You don't have to plug in a personal development every day, but it's highly recommended. It's like taking a shower. You don't have to do it every day, but it's highly recommended. So the reason is, guys, because we're surrounded in a world by negativity. At your workplace, most people in your family, most people for your spouse, even if you have a supportive spouse, it doesn't mean they are a super successful entrepreneur, and it doesn't mean that things they say. Like a great example, guys, my mom is like one of the most loving and supportive people in the world, but she is so protective of me as one of her sons that every time I talk about some new thing I'm doing, she's like, oh my God, but Jason, what about this? And have you done this? Have you checked this out? And she's so freaked out something's going to go wrong. I could actually listen to all her objections and be like, oh yeah, you're right, Mom. If I was worried about all those dozen things, I better not do this. You're right. And I would never do anything in my life. And it's not, she loves me to death. She's doing that to protect me, and that's her instinct. It's how she's grown. But I've watched over these years her starting to change some of that. I remember guys, let me tell you this really quickly. And I've shared this openly with my mom, and she, we've grown through this experience. So there is a time, I believe I was in high school, and I said something, we were at the dinner table, I said something along the lines of, I'm going to go get a college scholarship. And she said something like, oh, Jason, that would be great. But I took how she said it as being like sarcastic, like, yeah, right. Like, what are your chances you're this skinny little kid? And that's how I took it. And that's because I had a low self-esteem at the time. Now, she meant it as good, but there was that some of what the words she said around it, because she didn't say just exactly that. She knew my chances, just like the whole world knew, looking at me. The honest to God truth, my chances weren't that good I could go get a scholarship. But the way she said it and what she said, it just crushed me. And I was like, I just instantly burst out into tears, and I left the table and I went immediately downstairs and I got on the set of weight equipment. I just started lifting weights. Like 10 seconds later, I was lifting weights. I was so hurt and pissed and just like, I am going to get a college scholarship. And she came down, she knew I was upset, we just started talking, and it's not at all what she meant to do, but she was being protective too, because she knew my chances are very low to get a scholarship. So what happens 2-3 years later, time goes by, I get a full ride for college soccer. And that's a great example of someone who deeply loves me and cares about me, but they were just trying to protect me. And that's just one example of hundreds, probably thousands that have happened throughout my life. So even if you have somebody that's super supportive and protective, you have to surround yourself by super successful people, by inspiration, by positive stories, by people making stuff happen every single day. And the more you can do that, the more it's going to grow your self-esteem and your belief and everything else. So I love that Gavin is actually asking something like this. Guys, one of the biggest things most of everybody is missing that's not having the success they want is that they don't have the self-esteem to believe they can actually make something great happen in this business. And they don't have that because we live in a world surrounded by people who are like trained to go work in a box for 40 hours a week, or now it's like 50, 60 hours a week, drive in a box there, eat out of their box lunch, get to their box at home, turn on the box, open the six-pack of, well, cylinders, not box. and that's really the kind of world that most people live in. And so we have to really, you have to purposely immerse yourself as much as possible in the opposite world. I would also encourage you, don't ever watch the news. Don't ever read magazines. Well, at least the normal kind, the gossip and everything. Don't even subscribe to the newspaper. What am I missing? Radio. Just get rid of your whole radio. Don't even turn it on. You get rid of those things alone. And I remember hearing that back in 1998, and I was like, it kind of made sense. And I actually have not subscribed to a newspaper since then when I first heard it. But everything else was like, yeah, right. You got to watch the news. You got to know what's happening in the world. Guys, I'll tell you right now, I don't ever watch that garbage. And I will tell you, if something big enough happens, you will find out about it. Trust me. If there's a world war, something crazy happening, you will find out about it. You need to stay focused with your precious time and energy and creative energy and all the precious few amount of resources you have. You need to keep them laser focused on what's actually important here. You know what? I got to refresh this page real quick. Let me see if anything else. Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on one sec, guys. So how to find the best items? We just we just covered that one. 14-hour and a 7-day week hours changing every day. I'm not sure. Hang on, guys. Let me. Guys, hang on. I can't talk and type at the same time, so I'm going to shut up and type real quickly here. So I have something to say if that's true. If that is Chris's actual issue there. By the way, if you can't see it, because I'm not going to go edit this video. Chris asked, 14-hour a day, 7-day a week hours, changing every day, truck driving job. I wanted a little more clarity before I answer all of that, but that's related to some of the other things that come up here. Stephanie says, for me, it's time. Being a busy mom with another job and son active in sports, I really have to prioritize my time. I also have a 30-minute commute both ways every day. I found it difficult to work DSD on a daily basis, but I'm doing as much as I can when I can. I have even listed one new item a day. I feel it is better than none. It is, Stephanie, and that will keep your momentum. Dead minimum. Give yourself a goal. If you've been able to list at least one item a day, I would encourage you, raise your standard. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your standards. And so raise your standard and make that you will not go a day without listing a minimum of 2 items a day. Raise your standard like that and just see if anything changes in your business. See what happens there. And then she has another part here. I feel sometimes I'm going too slow. Going too slow has nothing to do with anything besides you're watching other people and you're comparing yourself to them. You need to read a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, and I'll just summarize a part of the book so you don't have to read the whole thing. Don't compare yourself to other people. You need to compare yourself to yourself. The only competition you have is your best self. And so if you feel you're going too slow, that almost always comes from you comparing to other people. Just compare to yourself. And if you can do better, which I like, you have a standard of listing 1 new item a day, that's awesome. Raise your own standard. Who cares if there's people listing 5, 10 plus items a day? Ignore them. You focus on your best and get to 2 per day and see what happens from there, and keep building from there. So that was a little side note. Let me read her last sentence here. So I guess the question I would have is how to do the most productive income producing things with minimal time each day. So guys, IPAs, income producing activities. Even from Jason O'Neill's call with Eric the other night, I followed up with Jason and just asked him, so is there any other little sub-activities you would say that are IPAs, income producing activities? And he basically came back and said, the main thing is just to keep listing more items. That is the IPA. There's only one, and it's listing more and more items. And so I will take his word that that's true, because he sold a lot more drop shipping items than I have. So if you're just focused on the drop shipping side, I would say, hang on guys, I'm trying to rearrange this chair here. I'm a movie bouncy kind of person, energetic, use my hands, and so my seat cushion is getting all out of whack because I need a little cushion here because this desk isn't quite aligned with my chair I'm using here. Again, I'm in this weird environment with all this weird stuff happening. So how to do the most income producing activity. So Stephanie, let's say that we're just going to go completely off what Jason said and what several other people I've interviewed. They all say the same thing. It's all about listing new items. So I would say, if that is, let's pretend that's the only IPA is listing more items, then how do we just focus on listing more and more items, even if it's at the sacrifice, like what we talked with Chad, at the sacrifice of a little customer service here and there, stuff like that. There are absolutely ways you guys can outsource parts of your business, but I want you to start to identify what the heck are the parts of your business. I'll tell you guys a couple things just off the top of my head here that before you ever go to outsource anything, you first of all have to be really good at it yourself, because you're not going to ever train somebody to do something if you're not good at it yourself, because they'll go screw it all up, and they will take it in a direction, and you'll get all mad because they're not doing what you want them to do, but you didn't give them good enough instruction. So there's 2 parts to it. You have to know exactly what you're looking for. You have to communicate that well to the person you're hiring as your employee, as your outsourcer. So this goes along with the time thing. So one of the answers for a lot of people is, guys, any business takes 2 things to grow. It takes time and or money. And there's other parts of it like the expertise, the skill set, stuff like that. So obviously you have to buy all the products. You have to master all this stuff. And if you don't understand that yet, you have to go continuously. You're going to have to know all of the products inside of DS Domination. Look at it this way. Those of you that have seen The Matrix, those little plugs that go in the back of people's heads. Remember when Neo's in the thing at the very beginning and they plug him in, he's in there for like hours straight, and all of a sudden he's done and he's all, I know Kung Fu. And Morpheus comes up and he says, show me. And then they go in, go all crazy in the room there. So wouldn't that be cool just to download, not martial arts, that actually would be really cool, but I'm talking about, wouldn't it be cool to plug into Roger and learn everything he could and just plug it right into your head? Wouldn't it be cool to plug into any, person that's made between $100,000 and several $1 million per year drop shipping, and just plug their stuff right into your head and just download it like that? Well, unfortunately, we don't have that technology developed, at least not yet. And so your closest thing to that right now is the training inside DS Domination, and then the support of this group to go along with it. And so there's you can always take things to a higher level. I'm telling you guys right now, you can easily make more than $10,000 a month just with the training inside DS Domination alone. So if you're not making 10 grand a month, you have no need to go look for coaching or anything else, all the other things that will be offered or can be offered outside. I'll tell you guys right now, I have a guy in my team, he paid I forgot his numbers, but something like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for training around drop shipping. Then he got plugged into DS Domination. He's like, I can't believe all the stuff in here. Plus, it's taught in a way better way where the stuff he was doing, he had failed at. After all this coaching, all this stuff he had paid for, that cost like 10 times what getting all in with DS Domination cost, he now paid a fraction of that, and it's better training. I'm telling you right now, everything you need to know is right inside of here. You have to get that stuff, and then I started talking about there's two things you need: time and or money to grow your business. So the first thing, we've hit on time tons. Time keeps coming up in the group here because a lot of you guys are coming from the mindset of, I don't know how to grow my business with money, with cash flow, with reinvesting back in your business. I would encourage you guys to take a very healthy chunk of your profits that you're gaining and reinvest them back into your business, because then you're going to get your snowball rolling that much faster. And if you do this right, your snowball will outroll every other snowball of almost everybody in DS Domination. And the only people that are going to beat you out are those reinvesting better than you are. So I would encourage you, take 20%, take 50%, take 100%. You want to go crazy like I've done most of my life? Take 150 or 200% of your profits. Give you guys a second to really think about what that means, and go reinvest that into getting people to finding items for you, into getting people into listing those items for you, into getting people to deal with your customers, into getting people to placing orders and updating your spreadsheets and doing all the stuff you need to do in the background. Hopefully that spreadsheets thing is coming up real soon, because somebody did ask that. Hang on one second, guys. Hours just staying tired all. Okay. So I'm gonna actually right before I jump on here. So we're basically in Stephanie's question here, and so Stephanie, your income producing activities, find ways to list more items. Those ways can be through your own time. It can also be through you taking some of your profits and finding ways to outsource and get other people to find items to list for you, kind of stuff. I'm not going to dive down that outsourcing world right now, but we will cover that in other videos and other training. So Chris is talking about his hours change from days to night, and so he's basically tired all the time. So by the way, guys, so it sounds like Chris is working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, and he's still building his business, right? So if that's what he's doing, and you're working like 8 or 9 hours a day on your job, and you only work 5 or 6 days a week, I don't want to hear you complaining, because here's Chris working his butt off, and he's working 14 hours a day. Do you realize there's only 10 other hours a day that he has 7 days a week? Plus, just so you know how your body works, your body likes consistency. And when you get used to like doing a 14-hour shift, like let's say from like 12 midnight to like 2 p.m. the next day, that's a 14-hour shift. That's awesome if you just keep doing that. But then if every week you're shifting and now you're going from 12 noon until 2 a.m. and your body is so out of whack, Chris, you are always going to be tired if that's your chosen profession or what you feel like you need to be doing right now. And so the first thing I thought of for you is that it sounds like you have very little time anyway. You probably have a lot of time for personal development, so I would encourage you to get through all kinds of books and on audio and stuff. Don't read while you're driving, but listen to all kinds of books on audio and listen to all the interviews that people are doing. Get them on MP3, get them on your iPod or whatever, and listen to them. But I would highly encourage you to find a way to start to outsource stuff, and I think that's your next road. And guys, this outsourcing came up in a separate thread today. The best thing I can tell you guys, and again, I'm not going to go into details right now around this, the best way to outsource and to learn it is to go start doing it. Back in 2010, which is also that first year where I started taking off 4.5 months per year, that year I had a goal at the very beginning sorry, my mind started reading Chris's next comment. At the very beginning of the year, I had a goal to master outsourcing because I was afraid to death. I tended to be more of a micromanager up to that point, more someone who really wanted to control everything, and I was very leery of handing off things to other people because I had a really high standard of the work that I was putting out, and so I was afraid to let things go because I'd be like, well, they're probably not going to do it as good as I could, and so I'll just do it myself. That was a lot of my mentality at that point. And I realized that was really holding me back, and so I made a goal. I'm going to get good at outsourcing this year. So I outsourced. I think that whole year I only did like 6 or 7 jobs throughout the entire year, maybe 6 to 10 jobs, let's say. And varying anywhere from like $50 all the way up to like probably 1,000 or more for 1 or 2 of them. And I remember what a painful experience that year was because I really messed up a lot of stuff, but I learned so much. It was painful in the respect of probably more than half the people I hired, they just completely screwed the job up. So one of the things I learned was you have to get really good at outsourcing. To get really good at outsourcing, you have to outsource to a lot of people. One of the best things I can tell you, go hire 2 to 3 to 5 people to go do the same job right up front. Let them know you're hiring other people so that they realize they can't just mess around because there's competition. And you will have 1 or 2 of them that stick out above all the others. Even if you just hire 2 people to do the same job, one of them will be a lot better than the other. Almost always. It's very rarely that they're close to each other. And if they are, either keep them both and get a third one to come compete, or keep them both for another week, another day, another project, whatever, and see which one outperforms on that second one. And yeah, exactly. So Chris is saying here, one day starts at 9 a.m., the next day it starts at 1 a.m. And so his schedule's all over the place. So Chris, if you're watching this, you are always going to be tired because your body is not good at changing hours like that, always changing your sleep patterns all the time. I would highly recommend you seek ways as fast as possible on how to get other people doing stuff for you while you're out trucking around the world making that consistent income you're already making. And then you can really start to, over time, you can get to a point where you can be like, hey, I am only going to drive for 5 days a week. I'm done with 7 days a week. And I actually worked with someone who was a trucker. It was late last year and all beginning of this year. The whole second half of last year, I worked with him. And so I learned a lot about, how he was working and how he works best and stuff. And I would also tell you, Chris, get good at sprinting and recovering. So when you do I'm assuming you have certain days or several days in a row off between jobs and stuff. 1 second, guys. Oops, I have to click like. So, what was I saying? Something about Chris. Oh, so Chris, get good at sprinting and recovering, where those precious days when you actually don't have to drive, I'm assuming you have some of those. Dude, go list the whole day. Like, go list for 14 hours straight on the days that you're not driving. So instead of driving, keep whatever schedule you just came from and spend that whole 14 hours listing till your eyes are bleeding, till you're just like dying, falling asleep. I've fallen asleep on this keyboard probably close to 10 times. And that's just this one keyboard that I have on this computer right now. I have dozens of keyboards. Well, no, more like 4 or 5 keyboards I've used over the years. This is just my $180 mechanical keyboard right here. So anyway, guys, let me move on here. I hope that helps, Chris. And there's kind of a common theme there, too, I was trying to address there. Karen says pretty much the same as above. Time management, business plan. By this, I mean goal setting. And I don't really know how to keep track of the money I'm making. This is, yeah, I knew this was in here. taking consistent action, outsourcing, and automating some aspect. So that, oh, no big deal, Karen. It's basically just everything in the world. Just learn everything. Time management, business plan, taking action, outsourcing, automation. No, a lot of those are really, guys, Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week, really covers a lot of the, outsourcing, time management parts of business. Now, it doesn't go into great depth. It is really good. It'll definitely advance your skills in that area. It'll probably give you enough confidence to get out there and start screwing things up on your own. And that's my way, just to say, you're going to make mistakes. You have to make mistakes. Failure is the fertilizer to success, as Dennis Waitley says. So you really have to get good at setting your goal. What's your goal? I want to make $1,000 a month. How do I do that? That is somewhere around 30, 35 bucks a day, whatever, 30 to 35 bucks a day. How many items do I have to sell? How much am I profiting from items right now? Well, on average, I'm profiting $3 per item. So to make $30 per day, I have to sell 10 items with my current strategies. So if that's the boat you're in, great. That's cool. I'm starting to spell out. This is really where I really need my whiteboard, which is, it's not convenient for me to do a video on a whiteboard right now, at least not in this format. Maybe I'll do one shortly after this and break this down a little more for you guys. But gosh, I completely distracted myself. I don't even remember what the heck I was just talking about. Tim Ferriss, outsourcing, breaking stuff down, and I can't remember what I was breaking down. So so you have a goal of where you're going to go. You set your goal, and we had broken down the, $3 per item. You have to sell 10 per day to get to $30 a day, which is pretty close to making $1,000 per month. It's like $900 per month, close enough, okay? So basically, you want to sell 11 items per day if they're $3. I'll tell you one of the main things you can do. Stop making $3 per item and start making $10 or $20 per item. I don't even list items anymore unless they make me at least 20 bucks. Sometimes I'll go for 15 bucks if I think it's going to sell a lot per week or per day. But I don't even list items that won't make me at least 20 bucks per item, because every time I go to deal with a customer or ship an item or take my precious time to actually go ship an item, it better be worth more than, I better be making way more than $3 measly. Now, I understand you got to start somewhere, but if you want to learn how to make 10, 20 bucks, go get Elite, go get Unleashed, go get Monopoly, and learn how to really start cranking out the numbers so that you're not making so little per sale. Sorry guys, my phone is going crazy and it's going to drive me, here, let me turn my phone off. Mute. So I need to start wrapping up this video because I have no idea how long I've been going for here. So somewhere around an hour or less. That's all I can tell so far. So, Karen, here's what I wanted to say. How to keep track of the money I am making. You guys have to use this spreadsheet. It's awesome. You go up into the files section right up here. And there are actually 3 of them when I was first looking in here. And I don't know if I can find, I think it was one with a long, this might be it. Let me check this one right here. Let's just preview it. Let's see what happens here. Just open the stinking spreadsheet. The stuff drives me crazy. I'm just trying to look at this spreadsheet real quickly here. Yeah, this is the one I use. This is the one I really like. So this is the example sales tracker spreadsheet. And basically, every time I sell an item, I copy and paste the description there, copy and paste the customer's ID, copy and paste their full name, copy and paste their email address. Guys, it's kind of like drop shipping. All you do is copy and paste everything. Copy and paste the product URL, copy and paste the sale price, copy and paste the source price, copy and paste the shipping and handling. You do all this stuff, and it actually figures out your profit for you. So let's say your sales price, let's say you sold something for like $100. Notice how it automatically calculates your PayPal fee of $3.20. Now again, I'm not zooming in because it takes a while to do all that. I'm not going to edit this video at all. I'm just going to post it. And so the profit right now is only $86.80. Let's say my source price for that item was 75 bucks. Shipping and handling was, let's just say it's $3 for whatever reason. Listing fee, we'll say it's 30 cents for this one. So we do all that, and all of it is in there, and it figures out the profit of $8.50. And it did, guys, it did all that for me. This is how, and then look up above. Profit, and I did this in January. You'd want to do it in the correct month down here. But profit for January, $8.50. Total revenue, 100 bucks. Total profit for all of the year is $8.50 because it's my only one in here so far. So this spreadsheet, it can keep all of your numbers tracked for you. So if we come back here, great. Now I'm going to have to edit that because I just had stuff on the screen I don't want you guys seeing. Let me get back to where we're going. There we go. So back to Karen here. So she doesn't know how to keep track of the money I am making. Go use that spreadsheet. And it's going to be a pain in the butt when you first start to use it. But as soon as you get good at it, you can populate an entire item in like less than 1 minute. And you have everything in one place. Like if you have to real quickly communicate with a customer or look something up in Gmail or whatever, you can do it very quickly because you have it all in your spreadsheet. And when you're doing your taxes and everything else, you're going to need that spreadsheet. It'll save your butt when you have spreadsheets like that to keep everything organized. Okay, we're going to move on. Okay, perfect. So we're getting towards the end here, at least so far. Jakil, I apologize. I know I'm killing your name, but I believe it's probably Jakil. That's what I'm going to guess. Or Jaquel. That's probably actually correct. But one of those might be actually possibly correct. And please, I apologize. I hate slaughtering people's names. So please accept my apologies. Tell me how to spell it down below and I'll never get it wrong again. The thing holding me back is I don't have the capital to use until my PayPal holds are lifted. So here's what you do in that situation. You list as many items as you can. You keep everything maxing out. And as soon as you've spent your capital, however little it is, I don't care if it's 10 bucks. If it's 10 bucks, list all kinds of items that are only going to cost you $10. Sell an item, wait for the cycle to come around, do it again. Your PayPal fees get listed when you are around, I believe the numbers, guys, are 90 days minimum. I believe they are 25 sales and a total amount of sales of just 250 bucks. So that's like $10 an item, 25 items. Most people are doing bigger items than that. So the 250 is kind of a joke in my mind. I can't imagine somebody selling 25 items and not be at 250 total in sales, but anything's possible. So once you meet all three of those at any point in time, so if you're past your 90-day mark, but you've only sold 20 items, you still need to sell 5 more items before your holds get lifted. And as soon as they do, the second you get the money from selling something, it is in your PayPal account, and you can immediately use that with a PayPal debit card to pay for things immediately. Now, until that point, this has come up with a couple people here. How do I manage the cash flow? How do I manage my capital until my holds are lifted? I'll tell you guys a couple things. So we're in the middle of a move, and I didn't even get to sell everything I wanted to because we got too cramped with time. Just with stuff I sold that we didn't want to have to move, like a giant trampoline I sold for 75 bucks, stuff like that, I actually made almost $600 the week before we moved, just in stuff that had been laying around our house literally for years, for at least 5.5 years since we had been there. Most of it was stuff we could have sold anywhere in those past 2 or 3 years leading up to that, and it was just stuff sitting around, like a kid's little playhouse in the backyard. All kinds of stuff, and I have boxes full of stuff over in the corner that I'm still going to sell at several hundred, if not 1,000 or 2,000 bucks worth of stuff still. So there's tons of ways to make money. I remember I really wanted to go to this pretty expensive week-long seminar, and I was prepared to sell our second car because I was willing to find. So hang on, guys. Sorry about that. I wanted to find ways to go, and I was willing to find ways to figure out how our family could just have one car instead of two, to sell that second car because our cars are paid off. It would be just 100% cash. And this was actually back in late 2010. And I was so determined to go to this thing, I was literally going to sell that car. And then all of a sudden I found another way to get those several $1,000s I needed, and I figured it out, and it all happened. So if you really want the capital bad enough, you will find a way to do it. I'll tell you, I heard Jason say on the call the other night, he shows somebody his numbers and he got a loan to get the other products he needed. Somebody on my team just did the same thing. He showed somebody he knows his numbers, and he said, check this out, here's what's going on in my business, but my limitation is XYZ, my holds. I don't have enough money to get the 100 for Elite, the 250 for Unleashed, the 500 for Monopoly, the X amount for future product, whatever you're trying to get. And you go to somebody, you show them your number, you show them what you're doing. If you go to anybody that has any kind of business background that trusts you and they see what you're doing, they're going to, there's very few business-minded people that are not going to help you out. And there's very few people just in general. If you show them everything and show them the numbers, show them the proof, they realize, and they see that ambition in your eyes. You can get loans from people. And there are so many ways to tap into getting extra money that I really don't allow people to have that as an excuse. I've seen countless people. I've seen people in the worst financial situation. Guys, I filed bankruptcy like 9-10 years ago now. 8 or 9 years ago. I don't even know. So I know what it's like to have less than nothing because you're in so much debt, and then just get back to zero by filing bankruptcy, and I know what that's like. But I also realized, looking back on that, how many other options I had that I really didn't have to file the bankruptcy. There were several other options I could have pursued. I just didn't know it at the time because I didn't have the knowledge. And I thought the only way out was filing bankruptcy back then. And so there are dozens, there's probably hundreds and hundreds of ways. And one of the things I know, if you're ever trying to raise money for anything your entire life, I challenge you to make a list of 100 ways, and don't ever mark any of them out as dumb. Like, go ask Frank Kern for the $10,000 I need. If that pops in your mind, you write it down. There's no such thing as a dumb idea. And so you make a list of 100 ways to get the money you need. I've never had anybody get to 100 without one of those ways being the way that they can get the money, and they go do it, they make it happen, and they move on from there. I've never had anybody go through that exercise and not get the extra money they need. So that's definitely one great way. Or another great way. I think I've listed 3 already. So I'm going to move on there. And the other thing I wanted to say, for all the people, you're waiting for your holds to get listed. Mine actually got lifted way before I had imagined them to be, because I didn't realize I had sold, like 15-ish things over all the years like for years and years. And on eBay, I'll just randomly sell something, one thing a year, 2 things a year, whatever. And I hadn't sold anything for years, so I didn't realize they were going to count those things. But my 90 days started like years and years and years ago, and I never knew that. So I was waiting for my 90 days to come, and somewhere in like day 30 or 40, I hit the threshold of 25 or whatever, and they released my money. And I was like, what the heck happened? And it was just this giant surprise. And I'll just quickly say it actually happened on a day when I was probably one of the most grateful days of my entire life. And it was right before this move we were going through. Things were super high stress for that previous week or so. And I just had this massive hit of gratitude that morning out on a run. And I got back and I was just throwing gratitude out all over Facebook, all over my email list, just all over the whole world, to my wife, to my children. And that very day, all of a sudden, bam, my PayPal holds are lifted. I don't believe that's coincidence. And I don't know what your beliefs are, but I believe everything happens for a reason and a purpose and is here to serve us. And I am blown away by every time I have days like that where I'm just massively grateful for things happening. Things are just magical things, or apparently magical blessings. There are higher powers at work, and you just, the more grateful you can be on a daily basis. I'll tell you guys something I found in self-made multimillionaires that are fulfilled people, not just the kind that hate their lives and want to kill themselves, but the fulfilled multimillionaires are people who have attitudes of gratitude. So you want to model people who already have some of the stuff you're trying to do. So if you're trying to make a ton of money, go model the people that already have a ton of money. Plus, it's probably better if you model the people that already have that are fulfilled, that actually love their life, not the ones that are like, they can't stand themselves. So, or they can't stand their entire life. You don't want to model people like that, or that's what your life will become. So, and again, we had the thing here, hire an assistant to do some of the stuff for you. Genius, totally recommend it. I will warn you, you are going to go through a learning curve. You have to hire people that are going to mess things up before you even know, when you have a good person or not. Finding hot items, finances, we've covered. Not enough funds to keep things going. So, by the way, guys, so if you're still in PayPal jail, you need to take things. So as soon as you sell that amount that you currently have, you can then go delist or put a pause on your items or whatever. I can't remember what you do with them. Don't throw them away forever. Like, you want to get ready to list them again right away as soon as you have money again. And so while you're doing that, you can actually go out and find ways to expand the amount of available cash flow you have. And I want the bigger thing, this is going to stop a lot of people that are like, oh, well, I only have $100 to work with, and so I'm not. Fine, go sell a bunch of $10 and $20 items so you can have 1, 2, 5 things sold at a time, 10 things sold at a time. And then when you sell all 10 and none of the money's back yet, that's when you have to pause your sales. Do whatever you got to do until you get there. But I want you to know, when you get 25 things sold, a total of $250, and 90 days into your business, you are set. And for the rest of your life, that is not a problem. As you gain, in success and wealth and emotional and spiritual growth and everything else, the quality of your problems continues to rise up over time. And so this is just, Kate, I'll be with you soon, Kate. I'm sorry. I don't know if Kate's doing a bunch of personal stuff, so I don't want that. I don't want that to keep popping up there. So Kate, I'll read all that and answer everything you're taking all that time to write right after I'm done shooting the live video. And she has no idea I'm shooting live right now either. So I wanted to say, you have to realize that it's out there. The day will come when you're past all that, when you're out of PayPal jail. And what I would highly encourage everybody to make that day your 90th day. Do whatever it takes to make that happen on your 90th day from when you started. That I can't stress that enough. I think it's hugely important for you to make that a goal, because then all of a sudden you have a higher quality of problems. Oh man, how do I max out my listings? How do I get raises more quickly in the amount of items I can sell, or the amount of money, stuff like that. So a lot of those are short-term problems, guys, that you're going to get right by. You just need to find a temporary term to work around. By the way, I'll tell you guys something I did once. I was short on money, and it was just a cash flow issue where we were making a lot of income at the time, but I just used all our savings probably to go to an event or buy a product or whatever I'd done at the time. And I needed about $1,000 for the next week or two. And so I went to a family member I know, and I basically said, here's the deal, here's what's happening. I have this amount of money coming into me on this date, so I'm asking you for a loan Cool. John Reese just accepted my friend request. I actually, guys, hang on. I'm going to do this right now live, and I'm going to do this because I want to show you guys how to. So John Reese is a multi-millionaire, right? So geez, I have to go find. So I'm going to jump over to John Reese. I am going to message him very quickly. So guys, just hold on. I know this is totally off topic, but I know John is online because he just accepted my friend request. So what I'm doing is thanking John. He truly, and this is not BS, guys. This is truly, he's like one of the gurus that really impacted my whole team and my life. So anyway, guys, the reason why I want to do that very quickly, I first of all strongly believe in always expressing my gratitude to people, but also with people like John Reese that influence, literally probably hundreds of thousands of people. And when it's someone like that where they've had an impact in my life, I just wanted to reach out while I had that chance. That's like a once-in-a-lifetime chance that he actually accepted my friend request right while I'm online. And maybe some of you guys can learn from some of that. When you get a chance to get into someone who's influential and they're online or there's something happening like right at that time, just reach out there. And I'll just tell you guys, the best way I've ever found is just to express your gratitude. And don't do it at all if you are making things up or you're trying too hard. People see right through that. But I'm talking about someone who you truly are grateful for, that's truly changed your life. Reach out there, reach out to them and let them know, because you would be amazed at how little that actually happens to different leaders and different people out in the world. I know for a fact that most leaders in the world, they never get told enough of how amazing and how much they've impacted people around them. And so I encourage you guys to get out there and do that as much as you can. I don't care how successful. Do it with Donald Trump. Do it with anybody in the world, because they need to hear that. That's some of the stuff that makes the world a lot better place. So sorry for all the distraction. Let's get back into it here. Guys, bear with me 1 second here. I'm going to do something a little... I think I can do this. I'm going to let Kate know I'm live. Hang on. I don't know if this is going to work correctly, so just bear with me 1 second. Shoot, no. It's going to pop it up in both windows, so I can't really do that. That's okay. I'll just keep closing that window down. So Kate, once you see this video, I really apologize. I know I can tell you're typing tons of stuff, spending a lot of time, so I will definitely get with it really quickly here. I am still in pro, trying to sell and list so PayPal funds get lifted. Hopefully I can make it to elite to have income. So Jessica, bad language here. So I hopefully can make it. Forget about that. When I make it without a shadow of a doubt, and when I make it by exactly X day and X time. That's much more powerful language and positive present tense. I have no job that pays, 2 kids, and husband is the only one with a full-time job. So, it sounds like, so I am still in pro trying to sell and live. So Jessica, I think you're dead on the right track. Just keep cranking. And I don't know anybody who hasn't made it to elite that's actually just persisted over a matter of a couple of days, much less a few weeks or so. It seems like most people I know are able to build up towards elite within about 30 days. Now, there are a few who don't quite make 100 within 30 days, but I would say, Jessica, for you, it sounds like the main thing probably holding you back is you need to create that $100 and you want your PayPal funds to get lifted. So possibly some of the overall little, amount of money you have for outgoing purchases that's sitting around. And then also it doesn't sound like you have the problem of time. It sounds like you might be full-time stay-at-home mom right now. Now, granted, it looks like at least one of your kids here is quite young. And so I'm going to guess, yeah, they're definitely young kids there. And so I'm going to guess you're actually pretty time restricted, because I know what that's like with young children. I would just encourage you, list as much as you can, sell as much as you can, which always comes as a byproduct of listing like crazy, and get those limits listed. Just like Eric, I remember Eric, I reached out to him early on and he was always hammering into me, list, get those items, just constantly look to get your limits increased as fast as you can. So hopefully that helps, Jessica. And I cannot stress the amount, even if you haven't made $100 profit, even if you're at 20, 30, 50, get to elite as fast as you can, because you're basically gonna get an instant increase as soon as you start listing items with the knowledge you gain from elite. I saw an instant increase when I delayed going through elite way too long, and once I did that, I saw an instant increase in the amount of money I was making per item. And I was like, I can't believe I didn't go through this earlier. And I owned all the products from like the first day I committed to this business. So guys, what I did was join as an affiliate, because I'm an affiliate marketer. I'm a network marketer, but I'm an affiliate. And I joined the pro level. And so as I was checking things out at the pro level, when I chose to commit to this, that very second, I bought all the products that very second, even though I hadn't gone through anything else yet above pro level. And the mistake I made was not going through the knowledge in elite and in all the products. I started going through the knowledge all slow, which is funny because I'm this personal development guy that's all about you need to go increase your skill set as fast as you can. Well, I didn't want to get overwhelmed, and I was really trying to compartmentalize the business. I was trying to outsource the listing, stuff like that, and I didn't know how to do that while gaining new knowledge at the same time. And on top of that, throw in a move and everything. It's been just a little bit of a challenge, but we grow through challenges, and I've become a lot better leader in person and business owner through all of this. So anyway, I can't encourage enough for everybody. This doesn't just mean Jessica for elite. This is for anybody. Get to that next product level. I can tell you right now, every single one of them is designed to really increase the amount of money you're going to make from the knowledge you gain in that new product. So everybody's going to have their own comfort zones and everything else. I am not of the, if you feel like you need to wait to make your first $120 before you upgrade to elite, that's fine. I'm telling you, you're shortchanging yourself. You're going to make a lot more money a lot more quickly if you upgrade to elite and unleashed and everything as fast as you can. And then don't just upgrade, get the knowledge and then go apply it. If you're already listing items now, you're basically wasting your time. The more knowledge you have, the more you're going to make per hour that you're listing. That's probably one of the best ways to think about it. So whatever you're making right now with your listing hours, you're going to instantly give yourself pay increases, not wait for years for a boss to do it. You're going to instantly do it by getting elite, by getting unleashed, by getting monopoly, and keep going up the scale. So I'm short on funds, period. So I know, we've covered Willie's situation there before. Ashley's asking about how to find the best items. List. We've talked about that earlier in the call. I started in less than 24 hours, had my first sale, and now nothing. And I've listed all I can list and already had an eBay increase. Great. Ashley, go get another increase. There is no limit to how many increases you can get. Go call them every 2 or 3 days and keep asking for increases. Keep listing and listing and listing items like crazy. And how to find the best items? Jason and Eric cover this. I would highly recommend you go through that call. It was just like a night or 2 or 3 ago. I don't know. It's been a blur. But go through the most recent recorded. Oh, it's Tuesday night, 2 nights ago. Go through that. And Jason, very specific. So check it out, guys. Here, John Reese, reach right back. So check it out. John says, thanks, Jason. I appreciate you too. Thanks for sharing that and for being a customer. That is an awesome guy. There's a multi-millionaire right there. He's such an... I actually know more of John's background. I've gone through several interviews of him. Tony Robbins interviewed him. I've gone through a lot of things with John, and that's really cool. So now the name Jason Cardamone is on John's radar, and I might just reach out somewhere in the next day or two if I have some value to add to John. I want to do that for sure. So anyway, let's see here. How to find the best items, and now nothing. So actually, something I wanted to say that Jason and Eric talked about. You just have to list and list items. You can't control how quickly people buy stuff. You can't control which ones are going to be your hot sellers, your best items, whatever. All you can do is list more and more items. If you're at your max, go get increases. If you can't get an increase right then, wait 1 day, go get another increase. The persistent are the people who are going to win in this game. And I can just tell you, Ashley, with what you've already done, if you're already maxing things out, you're already doing the right stuff. You're just in this little temporary holding pattern for the next 1 day, maybe 2-3 days, maybe even a week if you're really unlucky, but just keep cranking and you are absolutely on the right track. Don't let this little temporary stall in momentum hold you back. So I can't tell you guys, and the timing was typically, bad, but I've been moving basically for 15 days now. And we've been off for like the last week or so, but I'm about to start, we're going to be a lot more efficient in moving this time because we're hiring a whole crew for everything. I did everything myself the first time, which was a potentially business killing mistake. It was just insanity what we did. Really good for working out though. And, I sold so many items and random things during that time when I was like super busy, 16, 20-hour days and stuff, where I was away from 5 days straight, my computer wasn't even plugged in. It's amazing at stuff I listed 2 months ago just sold a week ago, and I made like $50-$60 on one item that I found months ago and listed more than 2 months ago. And now because I kept relisting it, it just sold and I made $50-$60. That's just one example. I could give tons of them. So you never know what items are going to make you the most money. And with the time I put into finding that item and selling it and everything else, it was totally worth waiting a month or 2 or 2 months for the $50-$60 that it profited. And who knows what it's going to profit moving forward. All right, we hammered that one out pretty good. Hammered that one out. Hammered. Okay, here we go. Michael, and the comments keep rolling in. Right when I'm almost at the end, we get more and more. And let me refresh this just to make sure we're not missing any others. And I probably need to get upstairs and eat really soon, so I'm going to fly through this. Jason, you know me. If I could handle it, I would get all in. And I do know you, Michael, and I appreciate you, and I love you, brother. So, because I'm not afraid, but making sales, I just need those 2 or 3 sales a day. Days in PayPal jail hurts, but I'm about 50 days away, so I just got to meet the 25 sales mark and be on. Awesome. So see, here's something I love. Michael already knows those numbers. He already has his very clear goal, and he's already working right towards that. He knows he's about 50 days away. Michael, I encourage you to know that exact day of when your 90th day is, and just build everything. You got to hit whatever it takes to get 25 sales by that day, do it. And I don't know where your sales are at now, but go crank out 25 sales between now and that exact day when you're on day 90. Shoot, hit it in 80, 70, 60 days. Or days away, days into your business. I will eventually rock the affiliate site. Totally. I appreciate you, Michael. Anyways, just a little insight from me and a little shout out. Michael, guys, let me just tell you something real quickly about Michael. Michael had got on every webinar I did for years straight. He was the only person who had ever done that. And I watched him just grow and grow and grow for years. I watched him go from like knowing nothing about network marketing to over a couple years gaining more and more and more confidence. And he still has a long way to go, like all of us do. You never arrive. There's always more growth to go through. But I'll tell you what's so awesome is Michael got to a point in 2013 where he was like, this is insanity, and he walked away for a matter of months. And I reached back out to him with this whole DSD thing, and we kind of reconnected, and I showed him some of what's happening in the team, and he had gone through the reason he unplugged, he had gone through some personal things that took him away from online business. And I missed him. I always thought about him. I knew he was out there somewhere, and we hadn't even connected. Like I believe I'd sent out a text message or two, an email or two, a phone call, and we weren't connecting. And so I was dying to know what Michael was doing. And so let me just give Michael, I want to give you public acknowledgement and props and just a shout out to you, how much I appreciate you for believing in your dreams and not quitting, because you could have easily just stayed away forever and you didn't quit. And here you are. And if I remember right, Michael made sales in his first week doing drop shipping. And I haven't checked in with Michael for a few weeks because I've been in the middle of this move. But Michael, I appreciate who you are. I know you have the persistence to really meet these goals. I love that you already have those goals in mind. Crank through them, make them a reality, because nothing is stopping you from doing this but yourself. And Michael already knows that, so I'm really talking to everybody else when I say that. Kate says, being able to come up with enough cash flow to be able to list more than one inexpensive listing at a time. Kate, list everything you can at a time, and then once something sells, this is something I did not say before, and if you're dealing with cash flow issues, I highly encourage you to be super picky about the things that you do list. Now don't take that to mean, oh my gosh, I better only list one thing out of every 500 I find. Some of you guys will take that a little far, so let me readjust the words I'm saying here. Is don't list items that are going to make you $3 or $5 and then you're sitting there for 7 to 12 days waiting for that PayPal cycle to go get your $5 profit. Don't do that. I would encourage you to list items that you're going to make a really nice profit on and put up the amount that you're charging. Make that so you're going to make 10, 15, 20 bucks when you sell that item, maybe 50 bucks, even if you're still in pro. Just go get a little crazy, get a little wild with it. And because then when you actually do get those profits to come in, it directly increases the amount that you actually have to flow back around. And maybe now you can have 2 items that are out at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Or 3 items. The more you can get those profits building up and get that snowball going, the better you're going to be at, getting out of jail more quickly and getting more and more profits. So your number one goal is to build up where you can have some cash flow flowing around as fast as possible. And I don't care if you have to borrow money from a neighbor, go beg. I don't care if you go out to the street corner and hold a sign up. I don't care. Well, you do whatever is in, I believe in doing what's right morally, ethically, legally, stuff like that. Everybody has their own standards around that. I have really high standards around that stuff, but don't go and lower your standards just to make some extra money. Do something that's within your own morals, maybe even higher morals than you've ever used, higher ethics, hopefully everything you do is legal. And, go find a creative way to go get some money to get that. If that's your number one thing holding you back in your business and listing more items, go find a way to make it happen. There are so many ways. We should start a whole thread. I think there already is a thread. What are creative ways that you can, find a bunch of stuff? Hold on. Let me go and Let me see if we can do that real quickly. If I can find that thread within 10 seconds. I want to see creative money, creative. There is a whole thread, guys, early on, somewhere around January. It seems like it was around for a while. So these are back in February. And I'm only giving myself 10 seconds. 10, 9, here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I like this thread right here. Yeah, that there's a better one. Guys, there's a whole one somewhere that it's just all these creative ways to make money in your business. And so anyway, I can't find it right now, but it's in the group. Maybe someone can go find it somewhere after you watch this video and make a post on it so we can, you know, bring that up. But there are so many ways to come up with that extra money for the cash flow. If that's your number one problem, there are hundreds of solutions to it, and you need to get out there and go start to find them. Seek them out. Whether it's borrowing money, selling stuff you have, there's something. Getting a part-time job just to afford to get that extra cash flow. I had a business partner last year. He had a job where he could put in extra hours, and so he was putting in 10 extra hours a week at his job just to make the extra money to go buy the products that he needed for his business. And you could do the same thing to buy products and the same thing to go and get more cash flow to be able to list more items. So anyway, there's tons of ways to do it. The one thing that was holding me back is that I did not have access to a group like this. Same thing with me, David. I've been here for only a couple hours and I've been motivated like never before. Yeah, David, my story. Guys, when I first joined, I was in Pro. I listed 4 items. I didn't sell anything right away. Of course not. I only listed 4 items. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to work very good. And then I got plugged into this very group you guys are seeing this video in, and my entire life changed. Within the next day or so, I had listed 6 new items. Out of those 6 items, one of them sold 36 hours later for a profit of $17.84, if I remember correctly. And as we can say from there, the rest is history. I have watched hundreds and hundreds of people where this group has changed their life. So I realize this video is getting insanely long. I apologize, guys. Let me move on here. When is the optimal time to move from Pro to Elite? I have actually specifically asked this of more than a dozen people who are very successful drop shippers. But let me read the whole question before I answer it here. So I know the answer, but let me make sure I'm answering the right question, not just the first one. Is it necessary to be out of PayPal jail to succeed in Elite? Absolutely not. I have just secured a credit card with a pretty high limit, and it is dedicated DSD tool to make me move my business to the next level and the next level after this. Is this enough? What other tools will I need when I'm Elite? Cheryl, go get an Elite right now. I don't know what pretty high limit means, and it's just for this business. But if pretty high limit means $1,000 or more, I would encourage you, go get Elite right now. I would even encourage you, get an Elite, go through all of the modules inside of Elite, and within that very next week when you're already applying those things, then also get Unleashed right then. And actually, depending on what your limits on the credit cards are, I would do that exact same strategy. Get Unleashed, go through everything in there, apply them, which takes you basically an hour. And as you're applying them, go start the same process with Monopoly. I'm actually stealing that one from Jason O'Neill. I personally have held off going through Monopoly because I didn't want to start gaining a whole new skill set on top of, you know, managing my team, on top of the group leadership stuff, on top of moving homes. And But I will, here within the next like 7 to 10 days, I will begin going through Monopoly finally, and by the beginning of May, I will be a master of all Monopoly knowledge and really all of the stuff that's in DS Domination. So I would definitely encourage you, Cheryl, do not wait too long. I know guys, the reality is we all have our own comfort zones with how long to wait, how conservative we are, what's our beliefs around, financing through cash flow versus financing through debt. How quickly, some people get really uncomfortable learning new information. Some people get really excited about learning new information. And so you have to, use your own judgment. What do you know about yourself? But I'm telling you right now that one of the best ways to look at it, look at how many hours you're putting in right now or how many hours your outsourcers are putting in. And if they are putting in just knowledge from pro compared to elite, if you give them and or yourself elite knowledge, it's an instant increase in productivity, an hourly rate that they're going to make, in hourly profits you or your outsourcers are going to make. The same thing applies to Unleashed. As soon as you apply that, an instant increase in money. Same thing applies to Monopoly. Instant increase in the hourly productivity, the hourly profits that your outsourcers and or yourself is going to make. So I think that's a perfect question to end this with. Cheryl, awesome question there. I am very much looking forward to seeing you post that you've jumped into Elite and welcoming you into the Elite group. So, guys, I hope you enjoy this. I really apologize it's gone for so long, but it's been good for my soul to go and make a video like this for you guys. So, I appreciate you guys. Get out there. Go make your dreams a reality. Put in the work, go get the knowledge, and make this happen for you right now. Remember, success equals skills multiplied by action. So go get the skills you need. Go take the action on those skills, even if that action is you hiring outsourcers to go take action on the skills for you, and you are going to have all the success that you possibly ever need. That's as simple as it is, guys. Oh, and the other little specific piece of that is just list as many items as you can every day, because the more you list, the more you're going to sell, the more money you're going to make. And I'll directly try to steal the words of Jason and Eric from the call a few nights ago. Basically, the only thing you can control is the number of items you list. You can't control when customers buy. You can't control what they're going to buy. You can't control them at all. You can't control their feedback. Yeah, you can a little bit, but not overall. There are some customers that will give you a negative feedback no matter how much red carpet service you ever give them. So realize there's people like that out in the world, and the only thing you can control as far as on the drop shipping side goes is how many items are you listing per day, and the quality of items, and what you're doing when you're listing them, and where you're sourcing them from, and everything else that you're going to learn in all the other products. I know we could have gone into a lot more affiliate stuff, which is funny. That's really my expertise that for like 8 years now. I'm going to say on that side, keep it simple. Tell other people's stories. And get as many eyeballs as possible onto the videos from Roger, from Kevin. Videos from me that I've done. Get videos from other leaders in the group and stuff like that. So that's it. Love you guys. Get out there, tear it up. I don't know when I'll do this again in the next week or so. Maybe I'll do it later tonight or tomorrow. I don't know, but all I know is I love you guys, and I cannot wait to hear about your successes. To your ultimate success, and God bless, guys.